I got a call last week from a friend who said, I understand you're going to Pomona, Aponte. Yeah, I'm going. She said, oh, it's so important that I talk to you. And she told me about Mrs. Weber, Clara Weber.
Oh, yeah.
Clara Weber was the children's librarian here.
Yes.
And she said, Jose, I will never forget the gingerbread social. Okay, so you have a story here too. And she said, the gingerbread social was so important to me because it was the first place, and this, we're similar age, 50s. Yes, this country was segregated. Yes, indeed, there has been and was a civil rights movement. And yes, there are people in this room that lived here before desegregation. Yes. And my friend said this was the one place she came as a Mexican American and she felt wanted. She felt part of, and it was Mrs. Clara Weber. She said, I'll never forget the gingerbread socials, Jose. And you know, she was such an advocate for me right into high school where I became an exchange student. And I went and I saw the world and I came back and I went to school and I became a librarian and I was an intern right there in Pomona. And indeed, I will never forget what the Pomona Library did for me. The person who told me the story's name is Elizabeth Martinez. Oh. Elizabeth Martinez was the first Latina director of the American Library Association ever. She's from Pomona. She went to the Congregational Church here. Her grandma was a deacon here. She was in tears telling me this story. She said, Jose, when my mother was in the hospital there with breast cancer, it was Mrs. Clara Weber, your librarian, that visited her in the hospital. Wow. Libraries are more than books, guys. There has to be a place where we come together as a community, as one. Elizabeth and talk about epiphany. Someone had talked to me about serendipity, how things happen in life. You know, like the whole in Spanish said, "el milagro," the amazing, a miracle. Elizabeth is my mentor. My mentor called me to set me straight before I was going to go give a talk. I'm the first Latino director in the state of Florida, ever. I'm the first Latino director in the state of Colorado. I was the first in San Diego. I'm a two-time presidential appointee and I sit on Laura Bush Foundation. My mentor calls me up and says, hey, you're going to my hometown. You need to sit down, Mr. Smarty Pants, and listen. So for me, Bruce and your community, it is an honor